Hey, everybody, welcome to FMA Talk Live. I'm your host, Datu Tim, and my wonderful co host.
PG Ty's here and back.
He's back. He's back and better than ever. How's my sound doing, my friend?
I think I can hear you fine. Hopefully, everybody else has the same abilities.
Wow, we got 9 people viewing already.
Excellent. Welcome, everyone. Who we got?
So I'm checking this out. Here we go. So if I put over the button, I got 3 from Tim Hartman, 1 from FMA Talk, 4 from the World Modernist Alliance page or group, 1 from the other one, 1 from Tim Hartman, YouTube. So that's cool. And here we go. Maria. ¿Cómo está acá? And from Ontario, Canada, and Master Rich Parsons. Hello. From I don't know where he is at the moment, but he is from Flint, Michigan. So if you're in the Flint, Michigan area and you're looking for Filipino martial arts, he's the man.
Definitely.
Wow. So and then Brian, all the way from Erie, Pennsylvania. Nice. And Maria, what you said? Mabute, I miss you. Yep. Well, I'm gonna be up at Oliver's soon.
When's that?
Yeah, that's when it is. So we're a minute or 2 behind. Actually, I got home on time, but it got crazy, and I did. I try not to eat on the show. And Janice, it was Turkey Monday. I don't know why. She full 20 pound turkey cooked today.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. So I'm like, hey, when I got home, I had to have a little more. So let me get some information on that one.
Are we serenading people now?
Oh hell no!
I didn't think so.
All right,
I don't need to torture them, at least with my serenades.
Yeah. I have the event. I just haven't. I have to put it on the Facebook or put it all over the place. But here we go. So, August 20th and 21st. First, the 20th is the seminars. The 21st is the sport, if I'm not mistaken. So, currently, it is. Okay. Let me get the brand out of here so we can hold on.
Nice.
I need I need engineers here. So we've got Jim Pantados, who's hosting the whole thing, PG Craig, PG Jason, and myself at the Taste of Manila. So this is actually a festival in Toronto that we're going to be at. It's been a while since I've done that. Actually, while Remy was alive, I was part of a Filipino Independence Day up there, which is pretty cool. When Rudy Costco was up there, and before he passed, he asked us to be part of his team, which was cool for the day. It was great.
Yeah.
Had a lot of food and all this other stuff. All right,
I was going to say, is there food there with a name like Taste of Manila? There better be some food.
Better be some food. All right. So, okay. So, greetings from Saudi Arabia. Thank you.
Oh, nice.
Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you who you are. So, and then Tiff from Detroit. Hey, how we doing, T?
Very good.
All right. I haven't seen her in a long time. Might be doing a seminar in the Metro Detroit area in the new year. Too much stuff going on the rest of this year, but we might be doing something. Actually, PG Ty might be out there with me. Who knows? Members of the FMA Invasion may be going on the road again.
Yep, definitely.
So October, we have the FMA Invasion in Connecticut. And then April 1st, or the first weekend of April, whatever that day is, we're doing one here in Buffalo. Not sure if it's a 1 or 2 day event. We'll figure that out. And then we might be bringing this elsewhere. Now, each event's going to have a different dynamic. We'll have different people in and out because, logistically speaking, oh my God. So I looked at airfare the other day. So I got a, I'm not going to say the name, but I got a thing from the airline I use because you have their credit card.
Mhm.
Oh, you got 10,000 points. Oh, great. So I looked. So I was thinking about, I'm planning on going. Well, I have to wait to see what's going on now. I've been invited to teach at Bruce Chutnick's gathering in Reno.
Oh, nice.
Well, I don't said I looked at the airfare through the website through the app.
Oh, yes.
$1,200.
Yep.
So I had a talk with him. He understands. I've since looked on the websites in general, much better pricing. So my advice to people, and you got to find out what works best for you. But I think what works better is looking things up online, not using a phone.
Hmm.
I looked through Orbitz. Oh my goodness, I found some much better rates. But I was looking. So we're going to Brazil in March, and the ticket I was looking at for there was $3,500.
Holy moly!
Well, that's not the deal, and that wouldn't happen if it was $3,500.
Right.
That was from the group I was dealing with, the airline I was looking at, and I since looked at Orbitz, and things have changed drastically.
Right.
But things are cool. I've been. So you been doing anything martial arts or just work?
Work has been crazy lately, for sure.
Okay.
But we did the camp, and then 2 new black belts. I think we talked about this last time. They're both from PG. Chad and myself, they did a session at our camp, and that went over really well. That was their first time teaching a group. So yeah, we're doing good things, exposing people to more, and having a blast.
Good. I'm just checking to see. I've got notifications on my phone. A lot of messages coming in and stuff, and I wanted to see if it has to do with the show. Don't really. Usually, I have a rant. I don't have a rant this week.
I only have work rants, but we don't need that here.
Yeah. Just the usual nonsense. So for those who haven't turned in, usually what normally happens, there's something that bugs us, and we say it, and because unlike other people, we'll actually talk about things. A cool thing is, and I don't think you responded yet, we've been invited to be on FMA discussion.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I saw that.
So, and we have to have Dean Franco back on because we did Dean Franco, the host of FMA discussion, but we haven't done Dean Franco, the martial artist. So we're going to have him on board. He wants to talk about us, and one of the topics he wants to talk about, titles in the martial arts. Master, Guru, Lakan Guru, all these things. And It's going to be very interesting because I have a real easy response to all of it. Also, listen, so if it's your first time tuning in, we cut through the minutia and we say it the way it is. Now, I grew up in a blue collar town, so I'll say it in blue collar way. We cut through all the BS, and we're not trying to be mean about things. We just say what we think, and listen, we don't agree with everybody out there. We know people don't have the same opinion as us. We would love to have people on the show and have a dialogue with us, because if we take opposite sides of something, it doesn't mean that we're not willing to we're not willing to change our opinions on things.
Discussion, right?
We are unless like I said, we love to have people on the show that are willing to discuss things with us, and if they take an opposite opinion of us, or me, or Ty, or whatever, because it could be a single or a collective. I'll have anyone on the show and I'll give them the opportunity to change our minds as long as they give us the same opportunity to change theirs. If it's just going to be, I made up my mind, you can't change my mind, nothing about it, okay. But even then, it could be, hey, listen, I'm not going to change my mind about it, but let me give you some idea why, and maybe give you some insight in a nice positive way. So, like currently, we talk about the Datu ships from Modern Arnis. There was 6 of us. I was the last. People have said, well, should you make more? What are the plans? I go, my position is that Remy hand chose 6 people to be Datu. And if you make any more, then you can't say that anymore. I don't want to say they should go away, but it's the Datus were the 6 leaders that Remy chose. And you can't have more 6 leaders that Remy chose because he only chose 6.
Right.
Just like we talk about if there's going to be a grandmaster of a system, usually there's only one grandmaster, not the umpteenth amount that are out there now.
That's old school for sure.
And if they're all different organizations, we could talk about different things. And here's a question. This could be a quasi rant before we get into it. Hey, Billy Joel.
Oh, nice.
All the way from the Philippines. I love when Billy's on the show.
Yep.
Hey, Billy, how about you be on the show sometime? And I know, here's the other person I like on the show, Grandmaster Lanata, Unyo, my friend. Thank you for saying hello. Let's put a time together so we can have you on and talk about Kuntao. I mean, I know a lot about Kuntao. I can always learn more. But our viewers don't know much about the Lanata lineage of Kuntao, and we would love to have you on the show. We could change the days. The times are pretty rough for us. We could possibly do a Sunday show, which would be a Monday morning. But our show would be, you guys are 12 hours ahead of us at the moment. So,
yeah. No, that'd be really good to have them on. Talagang mabuti.
Yeah, and then Billy, I'd love to have you on. Of course, who I'd really like to have. Actually, I'd love to have you on, and then maybe, Kuya Rodell. That'd be great. Okay, so I was going down something until I saw Billy. Do we remember where we were? I don't remember where. I have to play it back. We talked about the Datu ship and
that's right.
Yeah. So, but I mean, just because I don't agree with someone on that, it is what it is. So, all right. Okay. So I don't know how long today's show is going to be. And when we talk about today's show, I want people to listen closely. Because I'm not trying to be insulting, because I'm going to, I would say that Ty is the good cop, and I'm the other guy. I don't want to say bad cop. You know what? No. It's not a rant. It's a clarification. So there's been someone that I've been talking to almost on a daily basis. And he misperceived my intent on things. And that just, in my opinion, maybe that I've been giving the wrong message. So I got to take responsibility, right? Ty you were there when we had the London test, right?
London,
Ontario.
Yeah, no, I was not there.
Oh, you weren't there? Okay. All right. Hey, Terrell, how we doing, brother?
Jim Terrell, hey.
So I had asked questions on the test, and I go, okay, what are the 3 methods of striking? Nobody knew it. I asked the board. The board members didn't know it.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
I said, what are the blocking methods? Same thing. Several things I said. I'm like, and when I started talking about it, they knew exactly what I was talking about, but they never really referred to it like that. So what I did is took responsibility, saying that, okay, this is not from the bottom up. This is from the top down. If these guys don't know what's going on, it's my fault. I'm the head instructor. I need to take responsibility. So I'm talking to this guy, And we've actually talked on the phone a couple times, or at least once, and doing a lot of Facebook Messenger. And he goes, Tim, you say that you're the only one that's doing the art right, and no one else know what they're doing. I'm like, whoa, that's not what I'm saying. And I wanna just discuss this real quick. And this is gonna be part of today's message as well. Ty, do you feel that I try to say that no one else knows what they're talking about out there?
No, not about the art, not about the training.
Okay. So my position has always been modern arnis is the art within your art, or it's a standalone art. I learned it as a standalone art. I had a full-time modern arnis academy. The only one that was running at the time Professor Presas passed away. Mm-hmm. A professional academy, not a hobby. Not I teach karate. Not that 70% of my classes or 60% of my classes are karate, and I do arnis on the side. Hello, I don't know who you are, but thank you for saying hello. So there's what Remy did and what Remy produced, and today's show we're going to talk about that.
Part of that, yeah.
And what I was very insistent about is like, listen, I don't want to say that no one else knows what's going on, but if we're talking about teaching modern Remy's expression of Filipino martial arts, most people don't do that. And that's what today's show is going to be like. Here's the thing. A lot of arts are similar to each other, but they're different. We talked about this. Mm-hmm. And we talked about how same martial art, I talked to someone recently about, okay, well, modern arnis and kombatan are built on the same chassis. Well, if it's the same chassis, it's the same art. No, and here's my thing. I have a washer and dryer right next to each other. If you look at them, oh, hey, Joe, if you look at the washer and dryer, if you didn't know better, you'd say they're the same machine. There's many of the same parts on both machines. And they're both part of the laundry process. Both one, the washer that deals with water, and the other's a dryer which deals with heat or fire. All part of the same process. The process of laundry, they're all part of that process. But each one has its own department. And even though many of the parts are probably interchangeable because they have the same body, the same doors, the same knobs, probably a lot of the control mechanisms inside are the same. One's dealing with water and one's dealing with gas. One washes your clothes, one dries the clothes. And that's how I look at modern arnis and kombatan. There's a lot of the same parts, but they're not the same machine. And I was talking to this guy on the phone about it the other day. But when I talk about these things, and if I give anyone the idea that no one else knows what they're talking about, obviously someone does. I mean, Ty does. He's on the show with me. I didn't think he knew what was going on. I wouldn't have him on the show. Or this way, look, this is the way Ty's doing it. That's all messed up. But the thing here is, and today's show is going to talk about that, there's a difference between what Remy produced and what Remy could do. And if we and the same person talked to me about Remy being a mixologist. Rum, all these drinks you can make with rum. What happens when you run out of the rum? Okay, so modern arnis, if you look at all the players, it was all the different blends, karate, taekwondo, whatever. But no one was doing what Remy was doing. That's what I did. He taught me how to do this as a standalone program. Oh, here we go. Well, we'll do this one first. Yep, Carl. Good evening, big bad monster drinker. JK, just kidding, Datu and PG Ty. There we go. Case in point, the guy I was talking. Okay, there are many who are part of the Presas legacy. Yep, there are. Presas legacy. Okay, so speaking of which, let's talk about the basics and get into this. First of all, Remy learned from his grandfather during World War II. Okay. So he was, how old was he when he started? Was it 5 years old, 6 years old?
Something like that, single digits, yeah.
Okay, so his brothers weren't even born yet. When he formed Modern Arnis, his two younger brothers weren't even in their teens yet. They were like 10 or 11 years old. Modern East was formed in 1957. So when people talk about, I will post KJ. Okay.
Okay. Kempo Joe.
Tempo Joe. Okay, got it. Got it. Thank you, sir. Because I don't know why. Well, I guess it's a permission thing because everyone's permissions have been changing on these. Everything I've been touching lately. Your latest protection or permission has done this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, well, whatever.
You're breaking the internet.
I'm breaking the internet. So Remy created Modern East in 1957. His two brothers were 10 or 11 years old. Hey,
Joe.
I saw him earlier tonight.
Ah.
He's one of our long distance virtual trainers from Maine. So Remy taught his two younger brothers as they grew up, as a lot of times Big Brother does. Mm-hmm. And eventually they studied with Grandpa and Dad a little. But a lot of this, culturally speaking, it's not handed down father to son. It's more grandfather to grandchild because the current father of every generation is usually the one working and providing for the family. So who's not? Well, Grandpa and the kid, unless the kid gets to a certain age, And like I said, not that Remy didn't learn from his father, because I heard a lot of fun stories about that too. Mm. But the bulk had to do it was Grandpa. Now, let's put this in context, just to put another thing, because a lot of people don't realize or they don't know, and the Presas family system, not Modern East, that's a synthesis. The Presas family system was being taught by Remy's father to the guerrillas during World War II to defend their country against their enemies. That tells you the legitimacy of the family art.
Right.
Okay. Now, Remy had a lot of core material, and his big thing, he was one of Anchon Bacon's top fighters. Mm-hmm. And Blintlock was the last art he trained before forming Modern. Then as he formed it and continued things going, each brother, they were all working together because there's photos of the three of them together, as we know, as part of the organization, while Remy's in the Philippines. And each brother started developing their own martial personality. So Remy was the single stick fighter. Ernesto was the double stick player. And Roberto was the stick and dagger guys. I'm double checking things over here on my right, making sure I got everything here. I was kind of hoping for the photo, but I can't find the three of them. That's always a fun one. I'm gonna try to zing into this real quick, do I have it? Yeah, probably don't. So Remy got into the school systems. He was doing everything. You look at the book. Oh my God! I mean, Remy was doing everything. So you got to get a chance to the pink book. I don't recall the name of the book off the top of my head because there's three of them. The white book was The Practical Art of Eskrima. Modern, you see. And there we go. Almost got what I'm looking for. I will do. Okay. Here we go. I don't like the pink book is the Modern East Philippine martial arts stick fighting or something like that. It's kind of hard to. Let me see if I can. Someone's selling it on eBay. Where are they selling it from? It just says within the United States. Okay. Huh. Yeah, so it's a great book because there's a lot of articles in there and stuff. Shows how Remy really was like, the Presas Brothers to Filipino martial arts were like the Gracies to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Dallas, hey, how you doing, brother? Our host for Brazil.
Yep, nice.
Which I need to talk more about with that. Versions of the book too. So they've re-released it, and here is the oh, Scott, hey, Wisconsin, nice. Okay, cool. So it's this one right here on the right. So they've redone the cover. Where is it? This was the original Philippine version of that. I have multiple covers, the green and the blue, one of which is a Tagalog version. Here's the first official. I think this was the first official book Remy did, The Practical Art of Eskrima. And then we all know this as the one from O'Hara, which was rebranded. This is the same book. So that right there is the same book as this right here. Okay, so there we go. So I want to get back into what we're doing. All right, so you want to read that while I try to get things going back on?
Yeah, I'm not sure who this is, but they say Roberto started ahead of Ernesto. Roberto's is by Jose Presas, Espari Daga, Abanico Palis, a typical Ilongo Largo. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure who started before whom, other than Remy was the first. Okay.
Sure.
And of course, Jose. And I have one of the white cover, Art of Eskrima. The other is the yellow cover. Despite I prefer the version with the white color. The hands down, the pink book I think is the best.
Yeah, I like that one because it covers the whole gamut really of things.
Oh my god! And you know what? For being produced by someone from the Philippines there, or someone who lived in the Philippines at the time, it is so organized. And when I started teaching overseas, I was given a bunch of compliments about my teaching style compared to the Filipinos that they've used, which seem to be very chaotic. And we've seen that a whole bunch of times in the States as well as the Philippines. There doesn't seem to be a flow, a progression. So, hello, Facebook user. Don't know who you are, but because it only says Facebook user.
Right.
Because it's being special today. So, yeah, I know Ernesto went into karate for a while, and Remy got him involved with the group. Obviously, it's if you look at the Kombatan, it's very evident because there's a lot of karate-esque movements in there. But let's talk about what this show is. Today's show, the theme, and I want to talk about the title of it. And so we're all on the same page, because I don't want people to misunderstand the intent of what we're going. And this is going to change some things too. Mm-hmm. So, because people are going to get whiny, because that's what they do. So, how the Presas Brothers taught their martial arts. Okay. So part of this is going to be not only how they taught it, but what their intent was, because it's not the same thing. So, I've got some things in my head, but what you've seen the Kombatan people, you've seen a bunch of stuff with Ernesto, not directly. What's something that you noticed different between that and what we did with modern.
Well, obviously, there's two things that jumped right out. Of course, the expanded realm of the double stick work, which you already talked about, and the footwork.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So to me, the footwork was more pronounced and more similar to what I've seen in other martial arts that a lot of people would study in the U.S. Like stances, the positions of the angles and the extended depth and length. More sort of almost like Shotokan. I'm making a stereotype, but I'm just trying to describe what I thought I saw.
I felt that there's a lot of karate. It's funny how they talk about how some people say about how Remy seemed to be very karate-esque, and I think Ernesto was more, but less, and we'll talk about that at the same time. So one of the things that I see. Okay, so here's the big difference, I think, and you tell me where you think on this. How the brothers taught their art. Now, we don't even talk, we're not even going to talk about, we don't need to get into the martial systems, like, is modern better than Komatana, is Komatana better to this, that, the other thing. We're not doing a comparison.
Right.
It's about what their mission statement was. In my opinion, Ernesto did a better job of producing a Filipino martial artist. Now, there's a second half to that, but I'm waiting. So, what are your thoughts, and what do you think my follow-up to that is?
We've discussed some of this, so I kind of know where you're going. But I think that people would definitely see that, except for, like I said, the stances. Anybody who was looking at more what other arts in the Philippines were training just purely by themselves, how they would move slightly different. But the rhythms are there, the flow is there, combinations there, and the all-aroundness is there. So I think that's part of it.
And George Harris, hey,
George, PG George.
So, I'm going to come up with my second half. So the first, I'll say it again. I feel that Ernesto did a better job of producing Filipino martial artists as a whole than Remy did, because Remy wasn't trying to produce Filipino martial artists. There's a small group inside, a small subculture in the modern arts community in the States, North America, that actually tried to do it as a Filipino martial art. But what Remy was doing here, and here's the big difference I see between the two. Remy wasn't trying to build a Filipino martial artist, not that he didn't want to. As a whole, what Remy did was try to help people reach their full potential by enhancing their primary system with Filipino concepts without compromising the integrity of that base system. That is the modern Arnis model Remy used. Now, that's why I usually go under Presas Arnis more, because Remy taught me, when I would talk to my students, and this is the reason why when we would go to camp, we would be on average 2 to 3 belts above everybody else when you consider how much time we put in, because, well, no, how many years we were in, because even though it may be years, proportionally speaking, they didn't have half the time that we had, Okay, so here we go.
That's Joe Robella.
Okay, this is Joe?
Yep.
If you see Ernesto's early empty hand, there's more karate content as well as Sikran influence, yes. Okay, and then, hey, brother!
Dean Brenko.
Dean Brenko. And you saw that message he sent us?
Yes.
I didn't see what the message was. I just saw that he sent us a message.
It was just to me. You shouldn't see it.
Okay. Damn. Dean Brenko. Another part of the FMA invasion.
He's one of them invader types. As long as we're not space invaders, we'll be good. All right, so let's see.
There we go. LOL. There we go. Oh, here we go. Remy promoted the art and was better, I believe. We'll get back into that. And you and I trained 5 days a week. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so let's use George as an example here. I did him a little disservice. We went the first. He did a year. He did less than. Well, he went to his first camp with about a year's full of training. He asked me. The guys asked me what belt is he, because we want to promote him to black belt, but he's wearing a white belt. And what I really, if I had ranked him in anything, he would have came out as a black belt. His first camp. Like me, I set time record. I did a lot of things that I was quicker than a bunch of other people because I wasn't doing it one class a week. I was doing it one class a day, or 2 classes a day, or 3 classes a day. You know, so okay, yeah, it was just the same message. Okay, so it was a lot different. I'm gonna say, hey, GM Joe, let me know when you want to come on. Okay, there you go, Joe Rebello. I'm hoping that was Joe Rebello.
Yep. So he used to work even helping other shows on this show.
Hey, we try.
There you go.
So Remy, listen, I know there's a handful of people. So first of all, when we talk on the show and all this other stuff, hey, for the Philippines, hey, kumusta ka? Well, it'll be magandang umaga. Yeah, okay. Let me see here. Cambojo, Kumatana Greens, double higher post position, cocking. Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about. Okay, and KG for Sinwales. Yes. Higher back for Sinwales. Yeah. So Remy was about taking the concepts and blending them in, and going back with what Wizza said. He promoted the art, he was the elder brother. He had a decade of training above the rest of the family. He fought it for real as a fighter for the Balintawak Club for Anjan. He did more seminars than anyone else that I know of in the world of any martial art that I know of. He lived on the road 6 to 8 months straight, doing a bare minimum of 2 seminars a weekend, which would have been 4 to 6 hours, plus whatever. Like when he first came to Buffalo, he would be there for 2 weeks and do 8 to 10 seminars. So how many people did he cross paths with? How many people did he get to experience and get that sensation? Because we know, how do you get better is training. So here's a funny thing. I think we hit an all-time high. We have 31 people watching the show.
Holy moly!
That's the biggest we've ever had watching the show live.
Oh, and I think one of the comments I was reading on the other thing from GM Renee. That was the one. What was it? It was the one about Ernesto and Roberto starting. So welcome, Renee.
So I think Remy was the machine when it came to promoting Filipino martial arts.
Definitely.
So the 2 people that probably had the most impact on Filipino martial arts in their era, Remy Presas, first and foremost, Danny Inosanto. Danny Inosanto doesn't specialize in FMA. FMA is part of that massive Jeet Kune Do blend of his. And even though he's not a specialist in FMA, he's still better than most. But he's probably done more for martial arts as a whole, giving many martial arts visibility that would have never had. I mean, would Thai boxing be what it is today? Would Silat be what it is today? And other systems if Guru and Asano didn't give it that exposure? I'm not saying that these guys couldn't do stuff, but let's think. It was Pikiti Tertia, Lameko Eskrima, the Lacoste system, Serrata. You look at other systems. Okay, the Silat he was doing, the Muay Thai he was doing, I mean, like Chai Sarasudi he was a rock. He wasn't the guy for competing, from what I was told. But teaching wise, no one could touch. I mean, no one had the visibility that he had. Not talking teaching ability, but Inosanto gave him that opportunity, ran with it. Okay, what other thing? Other combatant elements, staff stuff. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things in there. What I find in the combatant when I look at most of this stuff here, when Joe's talking about all the different systems, a lot of the stuff I look at when I saw Ernesto do it, it wasn't a variety of material; it was a variety of tools. So when Remy would say it's all the same, Ernesto took us through the path to show us how it's the same.
Yep.
So I think Ernesto had more width and Remy had more depth. I definitely look at things differently after working with Ernesto. When to talk about who was better, you know what? When you've got 10 years head start, and
caught it for real.
He did it for real. And I'm not taking away from either of the other brothers. All three all three Presas brothers are world-class martial arts, just like the Gracies. Like Hickson never came to the States to fight because that was Hoyce's thing. But Hickson was supposed to be the beast. But the thing here is, you look at Hoyce. He was a rock star. Okay, and I look at Ernesto and Roberto being those guys, but Remy was the beast. Hands down, and he was the fighter of the family. Not that the others couldn't, but he was the one out there. Hell, he beat the crap out of that kendo player, and then they became friends.
That's the best way.
Yeah. So here's the thing: if you're not a modern Ernest person and you're looking at modern Ernest, sometimes you sit there and you say, "Wow, these guys they don't move like Filipino martial artists," because Remy wasn't trying to do that. Now at the end, and I think because of what I was doing, I think he wanted the. Someone gave us the grumpy face. Oh, Rich Parsons gave us the angry face.
I see.
At the actually 11 people gave us. Wait, is it 11 people? One gave us the grumpy. Okay, I don't know who that was. Rich, you bastard. But in my opinion, what are your thoughts about what Remy tried to teach?
I think he's trying to expose people and bring out, using Filipino fighting combat concepts, bring out some expanded skills, improve what they were already doing using tools and concepts that he gave them to play with. So basically making them, I think we've said this before, make them better martial artists first. And then if they love the Filipino arts, then guess what? They got that exposure and they can dig deeper.
Yep. I'm with you on that. With you. I'm actually trying to do two things at once here.
Oh, there we are.
Now,
Joe Lennon. Nice.
Yep, Joe Lennon. Not the confused with John. All the way from Austria. Wait, is that the right Joe Lennon?
No, I believe this is Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, no. That's you. That's not me. Okay. I'm thinking Joe Lennon. Joel.
Joe, okay.
The blindfolded double stick was...
That's just 4 days, yeah.
Yeah, that was a trick.
A lot of double exploration, though, and really, mapping across a lot of tools, like you said.
Delaware Joe.
No, he taught at our camp too.
Sorry, Joe. I don't think I've met Joe yet. We'll have to fix that.
Yeah, definitely have to fix that. He's really good and super nice guy. Don't listen, Joe.
We can change all that stuff.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about what I was going to try to pull up. Now here's the funny thing was, in the training methodology, Ernesto was so karate-esque. But when his guys would move, they moved really well.
Really sharp. Yeah.
really well in the Filipino vein. See, that's the cool thing. So you want okay, it I don't want to say it drove me crazy. It just shocked the hell out of me because I would watch and I'm like, oh my god, this is bullshit. Look at it. They're just doing karate stances and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my god. I mean, come on, really? And then they start banging, doing demos. Amazing, absolutely amazing.
The flow and the yeah.
And their footwork was still sharp, but it wasn't. It had the precision of karate,
Mhm.
but the flow of Filipino martial arts.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So you're way too kind. Okay, there we go. So I think as a whole, we look at the two different things, and Ernesto definitely um, definitely did a better job. Well, I mean, okay, I don't want to say by default because then it almost sounds like he's not doing a good. So first of all, Remy didn't try to build that. So Remy made good people better by cross training them.
Yep.
Ernesto took good people. He made them better as well. But what he did is he taught them how to do Filipino martial arts as a Filipino martial arts, but used the traditional footwork that most of these people were coming from as a vehicle to get them there.
Right.
Okay, here we go.
Yep.
Kepo Joe, IK, but I definitely demo. He always did. And Kombatan moves well from the flow to dynamic explosiveness. Many sadly say Modern East doesn't have footwork. So it does, but most people don't bother to learn it.
Yep.
So
there's a couple things going on there too.
So let's talk about Modern Arnis real quick on this one. So once again, I'm going to go back and I'm going to poo-poo all the practitioners. So here's the problem. The head instructor of the club, he goes, I agree. Good, thank you. The head instructor of the club may have embraced Remy's teachings completely.
Mm-hmm.
But when they would teach, they taught from their karate, their taekwondo, their whatever. And they still had to promote their karate, taekwondo, or whatever. They weren't trying to come over and they weren't trying to convert them because they were still going up the system in their primary system.
Or they specifically said, I'm going to put as much of my art A in Remy stuff as I can.
Oh yeah, I mean there was that's how I got the gig with your teacher Eric Alexander,
right?
Because he reached out to a local guy that taught I'll say I teach as much Tai Chi in this as possible,
right?
But I was like, listen, I don't want to learn the Tai Chi, but that's what I do,
right?
But I want to learn what Remy taught you, not what you're teaching me.
Right.
So once again, if you want to, here's the thing. Okay, so this goes back to what I was talking to Carl about. I'm not saying that the rest of the community doesn't know how to do the art. I'm saying the rest of the community, most of the people in the community didn't commit to doing the art. They know what needs to be done if they wanted to. They chose not to. They chose to enhance their primary system versus try to make it. If people committed to the art, they could do it. But they didn't make that commitment. Okay. Here we go. Let's go down the political path for a moment. Well, no, we'll use another example. You see a bunch of modernist people claiming to be leaders and all this other stuff in the modernist world as of late, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many of them are doing what we're doing? How many of them have seminar series, have their students doing seminar series, have their students doing seminars? Mm-hmm. How many of them are teaching in multiple countries on a regular? And when we talk about this, doing seminars, one seminar a year or once every other year doesn't count. I'm talking not the exception. I'm talking the norm.
Mhm.
I still do seminars, what, 1 or 2 a year? Doesn't count if it's in your school all the time either. But
Mhm.
who's doing all the stuff that we're doing out there? Okay. Why aren't they doing it?
Mhm.
Now, we can talk about personalities and lack of ability or knowledge or whatever, but really, it's not that. It's commitment. Okay. Hey, Jason. If they committed to the craft, they could do it.
Sure.
Now, whether they want to, whether they don't think they can, or they value what they had ahead of time more often. I mean, what do you say is a big problem with Remy's students when it comes? Well, okay, where do you think Remy's students prioritize the art as a whole? The norm, not the exception.
Wait. Prioritize in terms of what? I mean,
The value of Remy's art.
oh, I think a lot of them take it. Well, here's what I think. So a lot of them, I think a lot of the long-term students really take it as something they're interested in doing for themselves, and whatever they can do to, whatever they've got about it, and they've converted in, combined in their own personal expression of their martial arts experience, right? So then if you're trying to share bits and pieces of that, you're still not necessarily sharing the whole thing. I think that happens a lot.
Okay, there we go. Why don't you read that one?
Let's see. I'm not sure who that is. In the early days, Remy tried for a time to teach a more traditional blend of footwork, especially in the Cinco Terres, Espada y Daga, but it was just too much to teach at a seminar. He always had my wife and I demo Espada y Daga, but after a few years, it was just easier to break down the drill and not free-flowing. You can see where Remy would caught between a hard place and a rock. That might be Jim Renee. I'm not sure. You can check. Because you can see it on the other thing. On the Facebooks.
I would say that was Rocky, maybe. Renee wouldn't have been around.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Renee was with Ernesto.
I can't see it. Darn it.
Oh, there was the answer I was looking for. Here we go. As a supplemental program.
There you go. Yep.
Generally speaking. So modern Arnis was taught at best as a secondary art, treated as a secondary or tertiary system.
Supplements, add-ons. Hey, here's the stick stuff.
Yes. So we lost a lot of people when Remy passed.
Mm-hmm.
And what did people do? They kept the material, but it became the stick section of their karate or taekwondo or fill in the blanks.
Right.
It was very evident when you went to the camps that there was a whole bunch of people who never tried to move the modern Arnis way. They tried to move. They moved the way they always did. They never tried to adapt. They might sit there and say, all right, I'll do the triangular footwork where I'll put the right foot forward and the left foot when it's supposed to be. Okay, here we go.
It's supposed to be the same person.
Tim has probably found a good happy medium where he can spread the art and be more traditional and still modern, if it makes any sense.
I like that. I would take that as a compliment.
Yep. I see. I pay attention to most of the time. Yeah, Jason does. Yeah. The thing here is that, and Jason's seen it. George has seen it. I can't tell. Okay, George, he's not. He was just chiming in from work. George used to tell me how certain modern Arnis luminaries would run away from him and other of our students at camp when they tried to work with him.
Mm-hmm.
Because our guys played too rough or they knew too much material. Mm-hmm. It was like, hey, I'll work with, no. And, at the end of the day, how many we talked about the reps. We talked about what does the average modernity school do? How many?
Right.
Oh well. How many? Well, let's do it this way. Going back to the basics, what do you think? Oh, he's there. There we go. Here, that's for you.
Past, I'm not high priority for those that were doing other systems as a main art. Now it's a higher priority because they're trying to influence it. There is that. People are writing, yeah. Well, it's funny, I mean, because the other thing you got is even if they weren't threatened, they would notice. Like, so I got the story where we were training and trying to help people at a camps a lot of times, and people end up going, "Is that all you guys do?" That made me feel good, right? That I was focusing on art well enough for you to think that's all I did. That is awesome. So thank you.
Well, I mean, I know your pedigree,
But that was what we would get sometimes. It was great.
And so when we think about this, now, once again, this goes back to the basics. Remy did a much better job of exposing Filipino martial arts than anyone else that I know of. And he did it in a way that was, okay, listen, if he taught it as with an add-on, you're like, hey, this is cool. It can help what I'm doing.
Right.
But if it's taught as this is better than what you're doing, then it's like, well, what do you mean? I don't know what I'm doing.
You're right. Right. It was consumable because he was presenting it as almost what we're complaining about. He was presenting it as something you could take and as much of as you wanted and still do your primary thing.
Now we'll talk about Remy was in the States, North America.
Mm.
He had a decent contingent in Germany, and he was beginning to expand. But that all was more Ernesto because Dieter had went to Germany and hooked up with the people over there. I mean, Dieter from Germany went to the Philippines, and a lot of core modern the Presas family systems. That's when modern was used. Ernesto was using modern instead of his own before he rebranded as Kombatan. So here we go. As someone who has taken an active effort to learn Kombatan system through the Tiger Claw videos or when the other offered DVDs transferred Kombatan curriculum similarities and differences between the styles. I actually have the masters of the last cities videos, the art within your art. And Remy did that. Remy really tried to promote this as the art within your art.
That was his tagline.
Ernesto didn't do that. Right. That's okay. And that is the key to today.
Yep.
Today's topic is because I've talked to, I remember I was at the Kombatan Super Camp. I was talking to Dan Lohman. We started talking about a modernist person in particular. And he was like, really? And he gave me the thing of like, Tim, you move pretty good. I'm like, all right, here we go. Why? Who'd you see that doesn't move good as a modernist guy? And I had to sit there and go, hey, listen, you know what? You're probably not looking at him through the right eyes. You're probably looking at this person as being a Filipino martial artist. Now, here's what I want you to do. What's their primary system? And do you think they move better now that they have FMA in them? And if that's the case, that's because what Remy did for them.
Yep.
And a lot of karate and taekwondo people, Remy really helped get better with the flow. They're very robotic when they first started, and they cut all the hard edges off of it. And hell, let's talk about effectiveness. Ron Browning, who trained Guy Metzger to become the UFC champion, saw a shitload of value in the system. Mm-hmm. So, would teach with Remy, train it all the time. And every time I talk to him, I say, hey, Tim, how does this one go again? Okay, it goes like this. All right, how about this? It goes like that. Of course, every time I'd be at his place to teach him something, I probably learned more from him than he got from me.
Yes.
Which was the best part about it. Like, all right, so you're paying me to come down. I get paid to do a seminar. You feed me, and you teach me. Great. Right. Let's keep doing this.
Very generous and inclusive. And, cup half always willing to take more, which kudos to him. That's how you get better, right? And so he did that. Does that.
Yes, sirree.
I
So,
miss.
yeah.
We didn't get to visit with him last time we were down there.
No, we didn't. Got to work on that. Sending this to the person. So, so we're going to talk about the differences. The biggest ones are very simple. Remy didn't try to produce standalone Filipino martial artists as a whole. He was moving that in direction because I think he got into places. Okay, so if you compare the following that the two had globally, Ernesto had a good number, but in the States you couldn't compare. I mean, it was a landslide towards it was all Remy side. Now, it didn't mean that Ernesto didn't have a following. Matter of fact, he had the Bay Area. When Remy moved and stopped going back, a lot of guys started training with Ernesto. You know, but that was a small region, and it did spread out a little, but it just didn't have the same numbers that Remy had. You know, and just you know, just like you can do it the other way around. I mean, Remy was picking up speed in in Europe, but you know, Ernesto was the beast there. That was his baby. And then Remy was beginning to go back to the Philippines, so who knows, you know, who knows how that would have ended up. But yeah. But are there any points that you wanted to touch base on?
No, I mean, it was just nothing that I was bringing to this. I think it's pretty. It is. I mean, it's in some senses it's straightforward, but maybe people didn't realize some of these differences, some of the similarities, some of the reasons, right? The approach and what they were trying to do. So yeah, I'm just here to explore all that, and I think it's all coming out well.
Chris Davis always lurking. Davison.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ah.
In regards to the Años, how do you feel that the styles compare? Salient features in the Bay Area students are the ones who got Ernesto to do the Tiger Claw series in the first place. Okay, cool. In regards to the Años. So what are you thinking?
Well, actually, I've only seen brief glimpses of Ernesto's forms.
So I've got a mixture of things. So first of all, when it comes to Remy doing the weapon forms, there wasn't much done with him. Oh, that was from me. That was from Joe.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So Ernesto didn't. I don't know if Ernesto had open hand forms.
I've only seen some weapons, like I said, glimpses.
And I've really never seen Ernesto try to connect the two together. Now, that didn't mean he didn't. I'm just saying I never saw that. So, yeah, we were figuring. So I don't know. I mean, you know, I don't know. What do you think? I mean, well, I mean, you weren't there. That's right. So,
Right.
I mean, Remy used. I don't. Do you feel that Remy used the stick forms for much? teaching wise. I mean, as a platform to show material.
That is so interesting. As far as like applications was a big thing he did with forms, but he seemed to do most of that with the empty hand.
Yeah, I mean, oh, a couple of us would. Okay, I was up at the Massachusetts camp a couple times, and the instructors had a breakaway session where we went through together as a whole, and we we try to come up with different applications for the movements, but that was more of a think tank of the black belts, and so I mean that was cool, but that was not an official session. Um, at the camp, it wasn't a Remy Presas session at the camp. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't, hey Ty, I'm going to put you in charge. This is what I want you to do.
Mm-hmm.
It was more of a, you guys go do this. Okay, great, fine, whatever. So so when it comes to that, I just never saw anything with the Remy with the weapons with Remy. So then if you talk about the forms, I never saw Ernesto do open hand. Now I think Remy constantly did things with the hand forms.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly using them as anchor points, as you would say, to teach material.
And I think that plays into the fact of him teaching people who all these people had empty hand forms, so he had a vehicle to deliver some material that people could already mesh with.
Right, and that's that's a very good point. We're talking about stuff, and when you see some of the older applications, you see Remy doing things against committed punches and, oh, hello from Guatemala.
Oh, very cool.
Hey, I don't know how far Guatemala is. Oh, wait, is that Central America?
Yeah, it's on the well.
All right, never mind. I was gonna say, hey, my friend, it would be great to see you in Brazil, in Rio, but that's a little long distance. So, but I'm gonna be there just in case. Yes, it is.
Yeah, from Rio for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Central America. Yeah, just looked it up. Yeah, that's right by Belize and Honduras, and yeah, no, Rio, that's a long distance.
Right.
I'm working on trying to get to Central America. Haven't done that yet. Once I teach in Mexico, which I think we're going next year, then I've taught throughout the entire North America. I've done all the countries in North America. But
wait, including Texas? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've taught in Texas, so that gives me all the.
There you go. Shout out to my Texas friends.
Yeah. The Republic of Texas. That's all right. We're in the New York Empire.
That's true.
The Empire State, so the Emperor. Oh, right, we got a new Empress. So, so anyways, yeah. So I didn't see. To be honest, when Ernesto taught, and to be quite frank, I didn't do the forms. Ernesto never took the time to teach me the forms.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because he knew I had plenty of things from Remy.
Mm-hmm.
He would teach me things that were other than forms that were unique to combatant.
Right.
So, but there was definitely a different emphasis, and Remy's emphasis on the forms was connecting the piece together with the open hand combatives with the open hand forms. And another thing too, some people like when we talk about some of the applications, they're dated. Of course they are, because Remy taught to the people who would stand out and punch and hold it out like that.
Right.
So this is the platform, so that's what he did. When he worked with more progressive trainers, he had a more progressive training style.
Right.
So, I'm feeling pretty good, unless you got something that I don't.
No, but maybe we should throw it out there like we always do to make sure that if anybody else has got anything, or maybe they wanted us to make sure we explored.
You got any questions that we didn't cover?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do my thing. I'll be right back.
All right.
That's all.
But yeah, throw them out there, guys and gals. Anything you got, or questions, or comments, right, or observations, or thoughts. If you trained with either one and or both, or otherwise saw information or similarities between arts you did trained, that might be a good part to explore and include. So let's see. Good point. Okay. Kempo Joe. Okay, what about Ernesto Jr.'s kicking skills? Nice. Well, it's funny because Remy could certainly kick. Dr. Tim will tell you about the time where Remy placed it effortless kick right upside Tim's head. I never saw him do that because he already had pretty good gout by then, but it surprised him a lot. But yes, Ernesto is sharp. He could blend his kicks in with his Sinawales and stuff. Good stuff for sure. Just saying that Remy was not without those skills either. Let's see what else. Renee says both. I'm not sure what that's to. Terrell says, from Terrell, what are the most differences between the two and what are the most similarities? That's a good question. Hold that thought for a second. And then back to Kempo Joe. Let's see. Also, Ernesto was some great mano. True. Some of his hand drills or emphases were different for sure. But Terrell had a good question here that I'm going to circle right back because I promised him. What are the most differences between the two, and what are the most similarities? That's probably a good part of this discussion, I think.
Okay, well let's do this here.
Yeah, I talked a little bit about that, but you probably know more.
Kicking skill. Well, yeah. So he's got good skills because this is all he's done. Mm-hmm. Well, no, he's done it on Combatant and whatever else Ernesto taught.
Oh, I missed that's about John, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, both over here. What's the difference between mono and what's this last one?
Mono.
Okay, so let's deal with this. Okay, so here's the thing. What's in common? The angles of attack. Mm-hmm. Similar approaches to block check counter. Mm-hmm. Many of the disarms are similar, but different emphasis. Ernesto would train the open hand specifically as it related to Combatant because he didn't try to teach us videos of. Okay, that's good too. So Ernesto had a method from teaching the ground up. Remy's approach was to take people and make them better. As far as the rest goes, like I said, you'll find that the Sinwales are very similar. The disarms are very similar.
There's even some similarities. When I watch freestyle, I see a lot of similarities, even though the range and some of the foci are different. I see some similarities there.
Yeah, I think the modern Arnis tappy versus the freestyle, which in all intents and purposes is the same damn thing. Mm-hmm. I think Remy's was done more in depth. Once again, I think if you look at the brothers, Ernesto was more width and Remy was more depth. Remy could teach you single stick, double stick, stick and dagger, staff and knife. Mm-hmm. He focused on single stick. Mm-hmm. And if you sat there and said, how would you do this technique if you had a staff in your hand? This is what he would show you. He wouldn't show you staff fighting. Right. Okay, how would you do this with a knife in your hand? I would do it this way. How would you do it this? He would, if you asked him how you would do a specific technique with these different tools, he could show you very easily, but that he didn't take the time to teach the methodology and the progressions of each weapon system.
Right. No, he had the translation connection. So I would say his breadth was there, but you wouldn't see it normally.
Yeah. So Carl would be upset if I didn't have my.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because of the depth, though, you wouldn't see his breadth because he was able to show it all with how deep he could go on any given subject. And like you said, he picked single stick and empty hand.
Okay, so Joe sits there and says, "I've enjoyed videos of Ernesto Jr. mano mano on the internet. Tell a story showed about the size of the año. Yep, and the freestyle of Ernesto Lago Mano, busy footwork.
Mm-hmm.
So, the other thing too is, which is a rough one. I mean, you got to compare apples to apples.
Mm-hmm.
Remy was. See, the thing that there's a difference. Like Ernesto was probably able to do more with the system because he stayed places longer. Okay. Okay. Thanks for clarifying, Joe. So I feel that are we saying that's Renee Tungsten?
Yes, yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Yeah.
Well, okay, so Renee Tungsten, we should have you on the show.
That's right. I said welcome to him earlier, but you probably didn't guess who I was talking about. I get it.
Well, I heard Renee, and I'm thinking, I don't think it's
thinking a different Renee. Kokolo. Yeah, not that guy.
Not that guy, because he's made a comment, but he did, more of a working comment,
No, yeah, sorry, I should have been more clear because Tim couldn't see the names. Jim, Renee Tungsten. So welcome to have you on here.
Yeah, if you look at it right here, that's how it comes across right now. So I'm not looking at it on the Facebook page because it also messes up the audio at times.
Let's see. I can make it less tanned. There we go. How's that? I can look more pale.
Is that possible?
Yeah. All I gotta do is shine light on it.
Yeah, I had to dial it down a little. So for myself, I still don't. I don't know what the hell I'm doing with the. Someone's chewing something. Tier, stop chewing my sock. He's always chewing my sock. Yeah. So. Yeah. There we go. Nice tan tie. Yeah. Okay. Because he's got to make a comment.
That's because we're like that.
Trying to think of what else is going on. So, once again, I feel very blessed to be able to hang out with all three brothers. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I value all the information I picked up from them. All different aspects, some from a martial point, some from a historical point. All good. Remember, Tim has others. Okay, I want to. You talk. I'm going to grab this because.
Grab with it. Yes, that's good.
Yeah, I got it.
No, I actually wish that I had met Ernesto, but having trained the system, I've enjoyed that and how it feeds back and some other stuff I got from Remy, and also discussing things with Jim Roberto. So I definitely can resonate with appreciating the exposure to the two that I have, plus the indirect
Shirt.
Nice. Okay. But I also appreciate. So I didn't, like I was telling them, I didn't train with Ernesto directly, but I have trained some of his material, and it's illuminating still. So I can imagine, I can resonate that definitely you would appreciate all three brothers for sure.
Yeah. Johnny the whatever. the robot.
I guess.
Frank died going to the Dr. Island. This is his soul. I am Johnny the bot.
Okay.
Frank. It's got to be Frank. Frankfurt, whatever.
Oh, that's right. There you go. Yep. Working with Doug.
Not really. I mean, well, okay. So the stuff that I did with Ernesto when it came to edge weapons, I didn't like because he was doing it in the platform of the Polypalit, which was just and he did the same thing. It's exactly who it is. Formerly Frank Fartenstein. Okay.
Right. No, good catch.
So yeah. So when we it would be like, okay, so it became controversial, but I'm going to talk about it. Bobby Tabuada started doing the groupings with a dagger.
Right.
That was to represent a throwback to when he learned it with a pen.
Right.
But a lot of Blade people were like, "What the hell is he doing? This is stupid," because they took it out of context. And if he is teaching that as bladed material, well, then that's something he has to deal with. That's not how I would do it.
Right. No, I looked at that as exploration, right? Category completion almost, right? Just exploring what are some fields and implications and ranges.
But I think what happens is when you see your teacher do something, you start to copy them. And sometimes you don't copy them in the proper context because you copy but don't ask the question, why are we doing this?
Right.
And I don't look at that as Bobby teaching bladed material. I look at him, so a lot of times what I'll do is I have the Sharky training knives, and I'll say, guys, we're just swinging at each other like it's a hammer or something. That's why I'm trying to find, like Hubbard is he's doing research, but he hasn't found any patterns for his 3D printer to make me hammers.
Mm.
So, and like he goes, hey, have you ever thought about doing some trainers professionally? I'm like, okay, what do I need? A ball peen hammer would be really good.
Right.
Because the blue gun stuff is so damn expensive.
Right. I did start bringing the training hammer one of the ones I showed you, ones with the white plastic head. Brought that to train at class, but we haven't worked on it much. So I'll let you know how that works out.
Yeah. So when I sure missed it. How was the Super Show? I quit going. That's going to be in 2 weeks. I quit going since they don't give capes. I'll give a capes.
Super
Okay.
Show, capes, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So there won't be a show next week. I'll be in Vegas.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And so there's gonna be too much stuff going on. So we have an extra week to figure out what we're gonna discuss.
Good. Well, we can ramble always about anything.
Well, I figured I would actually talk about the Super Show.
That's probably a good idea, actually. Yeah, bring back some good stories and contacts and stuff.
So, actually, so listen, guys, give me a shout out here, whether it be on the show today or later privately. What do you think about bringing people that could help our industry? So, and we can have this underneath our FMA professionals as well. I'd probably do the same show, just rebranded FMA pros for that night, because I can bring people from business organizations on board. I can bring people for different services like web development that does a lot of stuff. Like my website captures leads and does text messaging and all this stuff that has helped my business. I mean, if no one's interested in that stuff here on the show, I get it. That's why we have other ones. Chris Davison, Datu in Vegas means no one will be catching my flubs. Yes, that's right. Well, that's not necessarily. So there's a tournament next weekend. Or is it this weekend? And Chris always does something silly with his blade. Like he pulled his katana out the one time. He pulled it out backwards.
Oh,
He won the division because he outperformed everybody. It's this weekend, yeah. So I'm flying to Vegas then. So he'll be doing his thing, and he pulled the sword out backwards, and not always. You don't always pull it out backwards. And then I'm not even judging him the last time, and he couldn't put the damn thing back in the scabbard. Still won, but. So it's just, but it was funny is I just happened to look up while he was doing he's doing the form. I'm not even paying attention to the form because I'm doing something else. My job wasn't doing. I was the arbitrator for the day, and I happened to look up. There's Chris doing the form, and boom! Right when I looked, I got the Datu voodoo energy stuff going on. I have the same problem when it comes to urinals. Yep. He is the soul, Johnny. Exactly. Every time I look, I got the voodoo. My anting doodoo Datu powers.
There you go. Anting.
Okay, so since we go off the rails here, how does everyone feel? I mean, do you feel that you got something out of it? We got more views live than we've had. We've been averaging 20 views the whole show. We had a high. What did I say? 31 was it or 34?
I think that's right. Yeah.
So that's the most we've had for live views at any one time. So that's cool. And Chris says nice. Listen, if you got some people you want to, so we'll have next week off, and then we're going to come back. And do you have any trips coming up that's going to get that's going to make it where I'll have to find a sub?
No, it doesn't look like. I think I'm good till after the instructor camp.
Great. Jay, hold on. So let's. So we have 2 weeks off. We'll figure out what we're going to do. It must be 10 o'clock because that went off yet. If you got any recommendations of guests or topics or whatever, we're always willing to listen. I will say there are a bunch of people we have to schedule when we get back. We are behind. As far as our next event, I'll just do this. I will give a boost. Okay, it better not be messing up. Now that I'm going to pull this up here. The son of a gun. There's always something going on with my website. Always got to do so. Actually, let me look up the other one. There's always some plugin that needs to be managed or whatever. That's the problem when you do your own websites.
Okay.
School, I have professionals take care of that. Okay, here we go. So really quick, here's what I got coming up. You go to the organizational website. Make this go away. Okay, so August. I got to put more up events. So I got August 13th and 14th. I'll be up in Maine at the Maine Gathering. There's the event we're doing in Toronto, which I think is the weekend in between. We have the World Mountain Race Alliance Instructors Camp, the 26th through 28th of August, and there's the pre-conference workout the day before. Our Thanksgiving weekend, we're doing a mini camp. I'm doing a mini camp, a 1 day. It's going to be like 9 hours.
Nice.
3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 3 at night. That's going to be in Cambridge. March 10th through 19th, we've got World Mountain Race Brazilian Tour. First weekend of May, 5th through 7th, we have the World Mountain Race Alliance training camp. And then next year, September, will be the instructors camp. And I actually even got the dates for the 2024 camp as well.
Excellent. That reminds me, I need to just do something shorter term. I got to get my September event going.
Yep, and we'll get that up there. So the websites you want to look at are World WMRNews or worldmodernist.com, and then or DatuHartman.com. Datu Hartman's.com is the events that I'm with. Worldmodernist.com. That's going to have the whole organizational group. So that's a better one to see what we're doing as an org, because I am not the only person in the organization doing seminars. And that's the cool part about our group. And we promote the group, making sure that everybody out there is doing stuff and trying to make things happen. I'm gonna do this, see if that does it. I'm playing with a plugin, turning something on, seeing if that fixed the issue. Let me. No, it did not. Oh, yes, it did. Yes, it did. So let's go to events. I want to do this. So August 6th, we have a DA seminar with PG Wolf. September 10th, we have a double stick seminar with PG Wolf again. And shortly, I will have dates for next year's Maryland event. PG Chad and I were talking the other day about that, and he's last minute confirmation on the dates. Pretty sure the location is the same as this year's. Trying to get these events out ahead of time. Okay, I'll do my rant now, and then we'll call it a day.
There you go.
So I've had this happen on more than one occasion. You have heard it, and you've checked me out on this, and you found out that I don't talk shit about this. I'm the way it is. Okay. Shameless plug. This Saturday, August 13th, 9 a.m. T&K Martial Arts. Wait a minute. Chris, I thought this was the. August 13th. Right. August 13th. My bad. Never mind. Having a moment. Old timers moment. Oh, shit. Is that when I'm in Maine?
Double booked. I
can't go to that tournament either. Well, I tell these guys with the tournament league, well, see, I'm not hosting this year. If I was hosting, I would have made a better attempt to do things and say, hey, guys, we got to talk because I want you at my event. I'm going to go to yours.
Yeah.
I'm right there, too. Old timers moment. Johnny, I talk shit when I have to shit. Okay, got it.
But only when he has to.
Right. So listen, here's the deal. If you want your events out there, if you want to make sure to minimize the chance that people book events the same weekend, then you need to get your stuff out there. You can't wait for the last minute. There's a Modern East group that Ty supported on more than one occasion that complained to him about when the event that I scheduled the event the same weekend they did theirs. And it's true, I did, but I didn't. So So this group traditionally did like the third or fourth weekend of June. And Rich Parsons and I taught a seminar together. We did the first or second weekend of June. It was like first weekend or second weekend of June. We specifically chose those dates because the other group always does their training camp this particular weekend. Now, I had a history of doing seminars in Detroit long before these people were doing their camps in Detroit. Lo and behold, not only is it the same weekend, it's about an 8 to 10 minute drive. Now, I was never asked to change my dates, which I would have been more than happy to because I didn't want that conflict. Because if anyone was at our event that wanted to go theirs and vice versa, it could be better for everybody if we just have more time in between.
Yep.
And lo and behold, they complained and they said, "Oh, we've always done that." Well, I had the conversation with Ty. He told me what they told him. I said that's bullshit. Ty did the research. What was it, like 7-8 years back? You checked and it was always like the fourth weekend of the month or something like that.
I can't remember the details, but yes, I checked about 6 or 7 years back. Yep.
And it was that year they changed it to be the same weekend.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not saying they did it on purpose.
No, but I did.
What I'm saying is they didn't put it out there because here's, lo and behold, this is what I did. I went to their Facebook group. I went to their Facebook page. I went to each of the instructors' personal Facebook pages. I went to their website. There was no mention of this anywhere.
Mhm.
And then they do a last minute thing. And this recently happened, actually the weekend of the camp that you just did. How many
Right.
modern events went on that weekend within driving distance?
Was it 3 or 2? I can't remember.
3. So you had Michael Bates. Okay, so you had yours in Maryland.
Yep.
Michael Bates did his Hall of Flame, which is like half hour, 40 minutes away, depending on traffic.
Mhm.
And Brian Zwolinski did his event
Yep.
in Connecticut. Now, I think that's a longer drive.
Yes.
Well, that's probably, what, a 6-hour drive?
5 or 6, something like that.
Yeah. So, but still, it is within driving distance. But personally, I think when you're beyond 3 hours, I don't care.
Yep.
And then there was another event where I did the same thing. I did my camp in Texas the week after somebody else did theirs. So mine was after, not before, not during, but after.
Mhm.
And the comment, even though the person acknowledged the fact that they didn't have it up on the internet or anything, but everybody knows. Not everybody. I didn't know.
Right.
Furthermore, I let the Texans choose what weekend they wanted, and I told them when I'm available, and that's what they chose.
Yep.
They just didn't want to go to the other event. But the fact of the matter here is, there's nothing else. There was nothing I could do because I did my due diligence. I put all my other stuff up, and I had my events, I think it was almost a year in advance.
Yeah, if people can do that, they really should. It helps everybody, and nobody wins if there is a conflict. So we all come out ahead if everybody, can plan around things.
Listen, the bulk of the people are not going to. Okay, so let's say I go into Michigan, which, by the way, I am coming back to Michigan, but it's probably in the new year. Okay, I don't know. Well, it could be, yeah. Okay, so anyways, so there's people in the IMAF. So Chuck has a presence in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
I do an event in Michigan. There's a bunch of people that are not going to go back and forth.
Right.
There's people that are going to either train with Chuck or they're not. They're going to train with me or they're not. But there's going to be there's going to be a handful of other people that might try to support as many events as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you have 3 people. Well, if it's a one-day event, let's say it's $70 a head. If these people can go both, okay, they can give $210 collectively to one group and $210. Now, in this case, if it was a camp, it was like 3 people went here, which is $900, and then another $210 over there. It's a win-win for everybody. But when you make people choose, it's a bad thing.
If you make people choose, they might not choose the way you want. Right.
Yep. And Chris is that guy that supports everybody.
Yep.
Yeah. When you can. You can't when people schedule things on the same weekend.
Right.
And it's not to say it's done intentionally. But the other thing is, if you didn't post your stuff up until the last minute, you can't cry foul when someone's had it posted up months prior to it. That's on you.
Even if you knew, doesn't mean everybody else knew, or maybe you and your friends knew, but that doesn't help everybody else.
We always do this weekend. You know what I do? I pull out a calendar. I do my research as best as I can, but my research isn't calling somebody up to say, hey, when are you doing your camp? Because I'm doing one as well. Because we've also seen where someone announced they were hosting somebody. Hey, do you mind if I mention this at the camp? And then by the end of the camp, there's 3 camps surrounding this guy's event to choke him out.
Some people do that.
Okay, my ex-girlfriend said I had to choose her or my dojo. Sometimes I wonder what happened to what's her name.
What's your name? Right? Yeah, exactly.
All right. So I'm pretty good. What do you got?
I'm good. No, this is good. It's good to get back out here. And thanks for doing all the cool stuff without me and bringing on Master Rich. And
I missed you, man. I missed you guys too. I don't like taking time off, and of course, next week we're going to take another time off.
Right. Exactly.
We can. There are so many good ones. Hope to catch up with you guys soon. Good night. All right. Listen. Any suggestions on guests or someone who wants to be on board? Remember, we do. Oh, that was Kara. Oh, that's cool. We do have a list of people that we're going here. So you put your name and doesn't mean you're going to be up soon. Furthermore, we understand when we get to people,
Right.
if you've changed your mind or have commitments, we understand that happens too.
Sure. I can think of there's 4 or 5 people we still got to get to.
Dan Medina, Peter Kaus, Rocky Paswick. Right there, there's 3.
Yep.
We've talked about Unyo Lanada, maybe Billy Jewell. Hey, we can have. What do you think about Terrell? Having Terrell on for all the things he's done.
That'd be fun. He'd be a good guest.
Okay. Oh, watch out for those penny slots. Where I met the last 3 ex-girlfriends, wish they all gave me my wallet back. Okay. And hello, Darren. We're saying goodbye. So hopefully,
that's right.
Hopefully, you're not just logging it
down.
down.
Now that Darren's here, we should leave.
Everybody's time to go. Get out. Time to get out of the pool.
Right.
All right. Listen. We have a week off. Let's do 2 things. Let's talk about the use of padded versus rattan.
Oh, nice. Good. Yes, I like that. Let's do that.
Yeah. And
that came up just today, actually. Or no, this weekend.
You what?
That came up just this weekend with some folks.
Well, Tuhan Jack just made a comment about that, and I wanted to.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, that was a good conversation. So, or a good thing, and I'm going to bring that up on board. It should be fun. Good. So, listen, everybody, as always, please stay safe and stay sane. This is Datu Tim.
PG Time.
Saying, see you all soon.
Take care.